your host, Judy Sleed. Special guests Lisa Reitman-Dobi and Emily Roberts. Underwritten by Windmill Village, Gurney's Inn, and Paul Brennan. Now here's Judy.
Wait, what?
Hello again. Thank you, Lee, for that lovely introduction. And welcome to the Play is the Thing. And today I have two beautiful ladies on my show, Lisa and Emily. Are you sisters?
No.
No, you're not?
No.
Well, you look like you could be sisters.
We get that.
You get that?
A lot.
Really?
Sometimes.
Well, Lisa is a very talented lady. She's a playwright and a columnist. And this is her daughter, Emily, who's a wonderful actress. I just came from her. She's off the show. Annie. She just came off a show called Annie. She had a big part in it. What was your name?
Miss Hannigan.
Miss Hannigan. Oh, you did such a wonderful job.
Thank you. It's so hard not to look at the screen.
Oh, well, you mean now that you're being interviewed? Well, I think you should look at me.
Yeah, no, I am, but like then there's a screen and it's all like me on there, so yeah.
Well,
I'll manage.
yeah, you should look at people who you talk to.
I'm doing
Right.
that. I'm doing that right about now.
Yes, so you are this Miss Hannigan. That's the part that Carol Burnett played the play.
I think she did. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure she did. So.
Was she in Once Upon a Mattress too?
Yes.
You were in Once Upon a Mattress before
Yes.
Annie.
Uh-huh.
That's funny.
And you were in another show.
No, not doing any shows this month.
I have seen you last year.
Oh yeah.
in,
I mean, I've been in other shows. I'm not doing
The
any.
Wizard of Oz, right? Weren't you in it?
Yeah, I was. Not a big part though, so not very important.
Oh.
Did
So-
you come to Once Upon a Mattress? Where she
No.
played the Queen?
No, I
very
missed
funny.
that. But I came to see the show that you had written in Riverhead. You had written a play.
Tell
That-
me about it.
Tell me about it. I went to see it in Riverhead. And that was very nice. What are you doing with that show?
Right now, it's on my computer and in a drawer while I try to work on other things. But when we're back in Manhattan, I'll see what I can do with it to workshop it some more and tighten it up even more. It was
So
a
you
lot
keep
of fun.
working on it.
Yeah, it always needs, and it always depends on the director. And I really defer to a good director.
Right. What's the sense of rewriting it if you're not going to do anything with it?
Right, and a really good actor can give it that extra dimension, and it really changes when you do what you hear in your mind as you're writing it. A really good director will make that come to life on stage without your putting a lot of what is the word in playwriting? Direction. Move this way, move that way. Pause. You don't need to do that. A good actor can interpret it the right way, and a director will. You can excise a lot of the words for emotion, a gesture, a pause, and
You are so right. You are so right, and you need a director to work with.
A good one, unlike.
I was very lucky to have Serena Seacat. She was excellent, and Emily's been very fortunate to have an amazing director in Helene Leonard, as she's been doing musical theater out here for 6 years.
And you've been in every one of her shows?
No, Stages has been going on since like 1992 or something. I was born in 1992, so no.
And so you do like one show. How many productions?
They put on
do
five.
a year?
I think about 5 productions a year.
That's a lot. But you don't.
I've done
do
a lot of
5.
them. I've done a lot.
That's a lot of work. Right?
Annie was my 22nd show.
Is that right? Well, I don't go to every one of them, but all the production, what they do, it's really amazing, and how quickly, how you learn
Well, I mean, in the
everything so quickly.
summer, we only have 2 weeks to do a show.
That's all?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
In 2 weeks' time, you learned everything,
Yeah.
the lines and the actions and the songs. It's amazing, isn't it?
She memorizes very quickly. I never hear her rehearse at home, and then when I go to the show, I'm astounded because these are very talented kids and young people with a very good director, and they produce a show that's worth far more than what they charge out here to go see.
Yes, I agree with that. I always was amazed what Helene did with the children and how they were able to put it together so quickly and so well.
It's a wonderful workshop, and by the time they turn 18 and they're ready to move on to go away to college, they feel like they're leaving a very large piece of themselves behind, because it does become a family. It becomes part of their life. And I learned a lot about theater just from watching Helene direct, and I think it helped me as a playwright.
It's on, Judy.
What?
Nothing, just the camera was still on you.
Oh,
while
that's
Mom was
still
talking.
on me. Well, I'm so gorgeous.
Yeah.
You look great.
So
Oh,
what
now
is-
it's on you.
What is Emily? What is it? Look, her eyes go. When you're going to look at this, you know.
No, I'm looking at you.
You're not going to look at the.
I know. I'm not. I know.
You're
I'm not
looking
talking to
sideways.
myself on the screen. That doesn't work like that.
So I was going to ask you, what are you aiming at? You want to be a dramatic actress, or you want to be?
I wanna-
First of all, do you want to be an actress when you grow up?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And you like comedy, musical, or
Comedy
drama?
is definitely one of my strengths. And I've been doing musical theater for a while. So, but I do want to also be able to do, like, I don't know, TV or, yeah. something like
Wherever you get a job, whoever pays well, right?
that. True that, true that.
And do you also sing?
Yeah, but I mean, I like acting more than singing, personally.
And do you dance?
Yeah, I take hip hop and tap and a little bit of Fosse and jazz at Studio 3. Studio 3, people go.
Where
to
is Studio 3?
Bridgehampton off of Foster Avenue.
You mean you take special classes for that?
I wouldn't say. What do you mean by special?
I mean, this is besides stages.
This is besides stages, yeah.
They have choreography and dance instruction at stages, but she does a lot of different dance styles. Diane's last name, do you remember it?
Diane Shumway.
Diane, she's excellent, and Emily has learned a lot in tap, and it's a lot of fun to see her do Fosse and do that. And she brings that to the stage when she does a production for Helene or elsewhere. She's done other work.
So a lot of, since you've been on stages, a lot of the cast has moved on to college.
When I first started, it was, I don't really know, I guess so, yeah.
And so you don't miss anybody.
Well, a lot of the older kids, when I first started, it was basically going on their last year, and so I didn't really get to know them, but a lot of them have moved on.
What's her name? Jane? No. Goodell, the girl who played
Rachel Goodell?
Yeah,
Rachel Goodell.
She was on my show with, they had a production.
South Pacific.
South Pacific, yes. So she was here. And as I was talking to her, I just realized that I had seen her in The Wizard of Oz.
She played a wonderful Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. She was
Yes.
fabulous. She's got a fabulous voice. And I think what's happened over the years is that these students mentor each other, and the younger ones look up to or watch how the older ones prepare and execute a scene, and they adopt a certain style and a certain technique, and they learn how to project, and they learn a lot and it's amazing to watch them grow into certain roles, and you know which ones are going to grow into the real diva belting voice actress, and the ones who are particularly good at dance, the ones who are particularly good at comedy. Emily is very good, but Emily can really belt. I was very surprised to hear her this
She
weekend.
held that note so long.
Are we going to show any footage from the show?
Did you bring it?
No.
No,
Well,
we can't.
I remember I mentioned if you wanted to, well, it was a very brief conversation, but if you would like to sing a song.
Oh, no, thank you.
No?
No.
Oh. Well, maybe next time we'll be more prepared and bring a segment of
this
the
was
show, and because then you have to arrange it with the
We
camera
found out we were
crew.
coming about 45 minutes before we started.
Well, it was during the production that Judy came over to me and said this would be a good idea, and I was doing about 30 different things at once, and I told you about it, and then suddenly it was
Yes.
Wednesday.
And my friends over, they're in the hall right now. We kind of had to bring them, but they're cool with it.
Well, at least they could see how it's being done. Maybe they'll learn something.
Emily's been great. When I write, I often give her a page and she reads very quickly. So I give her a page to, see how it plays in the mind, how it plays in the ear,
great, yeah.
and she'll immediately pick up. Mom, close parentheses. Mom, I think you want a stage direction here. Mom, I think you don't need that. It's terrific. It's a real pleasure. I'm very lucky.
See,
Very
she's so
lucky.
talented. So are you writing other plays or
I worked on a
stories?
different play, and it's interesting that we were talking about comedy because I tried to do something that was less in a comic, although it had a lot of comedic interludes and interactions, and I just wasn't as comfortable with it. I think I'm far more comfortable with comedy, even if I deal with a very serious subject. The way people deal with very serious matters is often with comedy because it's a way of coping. And that's why in Tell Me About It, I dealt with a theme as tremendous as a Holocaust survivor, but the family dynamics can be very funny because everyone is talking, nobody is listening, and they're talking across each other. And when people are avoiding a subject, it's often the most interesting conversation to hear,
It's true. Yes. Well, you did a good job.
Thank you.
You had a pretty good actors. One of my favorite actors, I always say, is Raphael.
Raphael has been
Shapiro.
Yeah.
Raphael and Emily have been in stages together for a long time, and I was so fortunate to get Raphael to play the young version of David, the young man who's looking for his mother's legacy.
I've seen him in many other readings, and he's really wonderful.
He's terrific. And Tony Muna played the sister, Sarah. She was superb. Well, everyone in the cast was superb. I was very fortunate.
What was the other young man? Mike? Mike?
It was a few years ago.
I know his mother. The mother's name is Stephanie. And he did a good job.
The guy who played the father. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
It was
He was
wonderful.
cool.
His name?
I don't remember his name.
I'm sorry.
That's cool. I don't remember the names
Billy.
of the two girls either.
Billy?
Billy Patterson, I think. And I hope I'm right. Billy, if you're watching, I'm really sorry. I think you're Patterson.
And
You
let's
better
hope his
be
name is
Patterson.
Billy.
And it is. And he was terrific. He picked up that Bronx accent. In fact, at one point, we had to put him on the phone with my father. And
Like right
I
before
said-
the first reading
It was
at
before-
our dining room table.
It was a reading of the first reading, and I was so nervous. And Billy kept saying, "But how do I pronounce this? But how do I pronounce this? I'm just not. I don't not." I said, "You know what? Let's get it right from the source." Picked up the phone. I called my parents. I said, "Dad, Bronx accent." He said, "That's easy." So you just put the phone with Billy, and Billy and my father spoke for a while, and that was it. And
That's great. That was a good thing on your part.
a lot of fun to do. It was very nerve-wracking, though, when my parents came to see the play because I took so much from life. And,
What they ended up
put a tilt
saying,
on it.
what they ended up saying after the show was, my grandma said, "Oh, I loved that grandmother character." no, she said, I love the grandfather character. I know that you definitely got that off my husband, but I don't understand where the grandma came from. And then Grandpa says, the grandmother character was exactly like your mother, Lisa. He said to my mom, but I don't know where the grandfather comes from, but yeah.
It's very hard. They didn't want to see themselves in the characters, but
Probably.
they were loosely based, very loosely. It was loose. Well, some of the things were verbatim, but most of it was.
Well, that's when it's original. That's when it's the best.
And I think people do take what's happened to them in life. I think Neil Simon is a tremendous example of taking life and spinning it with a tilt and giving it that, picking up what is humorous about it. I mean, the fact that, you know, just there's so many small things that occur that we see as impediments in our lives, and they're not. They're if you look at them a certain way, they can be very amusing. They're just, for example, getting here today, which was rather quick.
Did you ever try to write a play for Emily? That
did,
she could
actually.
be in it.
I did.
Well, tell me about it, kind of geared toward that a little with the character of the older daughter. I forget what you ended up naming her. Sasha?
Sasha and Becky.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as there were moments in their lives that I remembered and used, but as it took me a while to hone this play and make it, you know, make it to my satisfaction, and meanwhile they were growing up. So the small character, say the 9-year-old or the 8-year-old that I had, you know, used certain times in Emily's growing up years, suddenly she was 12. So, you know, when she actually did audition for the play, and her training has been so effective in musical theater, and she has not been trained in drama, very different.
I don't think the other girl was trained at all.
I think that's
right.
It's very possible that the director and whoever else was in charge, I wasn't allowed to be in the room during auditions, which I can understand would make the actors very nervous to have the playwright there. But they chose 2 other young girls who did regional.
Yeah, my friend Lizzie Oldak, who also does stages, she auditioned for Becky and didn't get it either.
No.
But again, these girls have been trained in musical theater, and they really, it's a very different kind of skill.
It is different, yes. And before you went to stages, Emily, what else? Did you do anything in school plays?
I don't remember. Well, that would have been like, what, 2nd grade?
No.
Well, I think I did camp plays.
You did. You did.
Okay.
I think you played the witch in The Wizard of Oz
At
when
camp.
and you were quite frightening, and we were all amazed that my sweet Emily was that frightening. And I said, well, she obviously likes this. So when we came out here,
So you from Manhattan and the Hamptons, or how did you?
Not yet.
or not again.
Well, basically, we lived there and then moved out here, and we're moving back there this September, but we're still residents. We're not shoobies. So
Emily, be careful.
can I say I can say that on TV.
I don't
right?
know. I don't know what it
I don't know what a
We're not going to be city people. Like, you know, those people.
Emily, this is the part that you edit.
Well, we are all
Is this the
aware
part
of
we
the
edit?
people.
Yes.
So you said you move. I heard you say that many times that you're moving.
Yes. You heard it every
And
year
you
since we got out here.
Yeah.
Remember, you heard it before I was unpacked from first getting out here. You taught Emily piano 6 years ago, when we first, almost 7 years when we first got out here. And I kept saying, I can't take it. There are no buses, no doormen. No, I'm naming squirrels after doormen, and you know, I can't take it. It's so quiet, and there are trees, and no taxis, and then I got used to it, and suddenly we are moving back. So it is true. Be careful what you wish for, because now I've become adjusted after 6 years of living here to the convenience of getting into a car and getting somewhere, and the quiet and the
So
space.
you have where you have your place in New York,
On the Upper West Side.
and you're still going to keep the house here in Watermill.
Absolutely. We'll be out here a lot.
So when you say you're moving, that means you're going to spend more time in Manhattan and less time here?
Well,
Or
if you add up all the time off they give these children who go to certain schools, they give them a lot of time off.
Do they?
Yeah.
We have a schedule now?
I got a schedule up to December, but we have the entire summer, and we have the weekends, and we have long
so
weekends.
where are you going to go to school?
Birchwath and Lenox. If you have heard of it.
In Manhattan?
Uh-huh. It's 77th and Lexington, something like that.
She's going to have to learn her way around again.
I never even learned it in the first place.
You
I
did.
was 7.
Yeah,
well,
but you knew.
There's one advantage over there. You won't have to wait for your mom to drive you around.
True that.
She can wait for a bus instead.
Or walk. Or
Yeah.
walk, yes. It's, after all, Manhattan is not such a big place. You can walk to many places.
Well, it's big, but you can walk.
Yeah, I used to live in Manhattan, and I would walk instead of waiting for a bus or taking a subway.
Oh, it's a lot. It's nicer to walk. The street, it goes very quickly when there are people
Yes.
and shop windows, and that's when you can think and get ideas and see different kinds of, for me, different kinds of characters out there. And
So I see that your husband took a part in this acting business.
well, he studied drama. He studied theater for years and ended up getting his PhD in cinema studies. But before that, he wanted to be an actor, and this was for him years and years and years later, or returning to the stage. It was like having two
scenes
children.
at the end of the.
But he was so
Play.
nervous, and he had
Yeah,
to
he was
sing,
freaking out. He was freaking
and he hadn't done this in decades.
He
But
was
how did-
amazing.
How did it come about that they chose him instead of
Well-
another child?
Child.
Well, all the other actors were
No,
children.
well, see, they Helene wanted an adult to play President Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Uh-huh.
So
So
she
did he have
was
to
asking
audition?
around for if any people's dads want to do it, and my friend Sammy's dad was almost going to do it, and he was like so excited about it and looking up Roosevelt's like speeches and dialect and whatever. And then he finds out that some of his clients want to have a meeting of some sort on the days of dress rehearsal and opening night. His clients include the band Kiss.
he
So
couldn't
if
say
you
no.
can't really say to Kiss, sorry, make it another time, I'm doing my daughter's play.
So the job kept him from doing that.
Well, in Steve's case,
Not Steve, this
no,
Sammy's
but
father.
Sammy's father. I don't know if he's had any theater in his background. I don't know himself. I mean, he may deal with artists. in this
Well,
field.
I don't know.
But for Steve, I had never heard him sing. I had never seen him act. We've been married for 7 years.
He amazed me. I was
I had
like,
no idea.
First of all, I cracked up and I saw his name in the credits. I said, I gotta see this.
The program you saw.
Yeah. I said, the whole family. And you have another daughter. Is she in the theater too?
No.
She,
Quickly, she said no.
she's dramatic.
She's dramatic.
This is not scripted.
Oh, what's the matter? Do I? Now you don't mean it that way, the way it came out, do you?
Actually.
Actually, what?
What?
Well,
What does she do? Is she finished with school?
no.
No, she's not.
No,
She's in college.
Oh, where?
You talk.
She started college a year early. She had been attending a private school in Manhattan and then wanted to do her freshman year of college and her senior year of high school at the same time, and there were some options to do that. So she elected to do that. And she's been in school in Massachusetts, and she's looking to transfer now to a school in Oregon.
Because I remember when I used to go to your house, that you were worried about the school that she was going to. You didn't like it?
For my older daughter, it was a bigger change. She
hated it out
She
here.
was for
She
her it was
hated it
a
out
bigger
here.
change.
She wanted to. So, like a year after, she moved back to the city with my grandparents and went back to her old school.
She lived during the week with my parents to go back to Fieldston, and She
Not just during the week.
Well, she also came, she went different places on weekends. She came here, she went to jazz. In the beginning, she came out more, but then her life, her whole entire social life was the city. So I spent a lot of time going back and forth, and then less time going back and forth when she went to college. But she was different. She was used to walking, and as you said, it's far easier. She was 13. She was used to being independent.
I remember I used to ask you to come on the show, and on Wednesday, that was the day you went to the city all the time. You
Right.
couldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah, so after a while, I left you alone, and I just saw you again and said, hey, and it happened. Well, that's the way life is. That's the way. So what are you going to do with this tape?
What?
This tape that you've
This
been
is
watching
being
on the
taped.
monitor?
Oh.
Yeah. What are you going to do with it?
Do we get a copy?
Yeah, you can order one, yes.
Oh.
Well, you think about it.
Well, I don't know if I want it.
I want to
But
thank
I think
you
it'd be
for
great.
coming.
You will.
I think it'd be great to have. We keep, you know,
As a
souvenirs
souvenir.
from everything you do.
And I want to thank you for coming on my show. It was a very delightful half an hour. And I want to thank everybody at LTV for helping me out, and people, underwriters. And now we're going to say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Wave over
that way.
there. Over there. Yes.
Are you waving this way?
Goodbye, and don't forget to tune in. The Play's the Thing. I don't know what time or where, what channel, but if you just look at local TV listings, The Play is the Thing, and everybody loves to play. Right?
Live theater,
True that.
best thing.
Yes. But I don't think they hear us anymore.
Love me, love